I have a plan to fix this. Independence. We've got to stop sending $700 billion a year to countries. Americans' taxes, buddy, today. We obviously have to stop on in Washington. Do you know that we've laid a $10 trillion on who are here with us tonight? $500 billion of it we owe to China. We've got to have a package of reforms, as you know. But we're going to have to do something about home values. You know that home payments, Treasury, to immediately buy up the loan mortgages in America and renegotiate a new value of the homes at the diminished value of homes and let people be able to make those payments and stay in their homes. Yes, but we all know, my friends, until we stabilize home values in America, we're never going to start turning around and creating jobs and fixing our economy. And we've got to give some trust and confidence back to America. I know how to do that, my friends, and it's my proposal. It's not Senator Obama's proposal. It's not President Bush's proposal. But I know how to get America working again, restore our economy, and take care of working Americans. Thank you.
Senator, we have 1 minute for a discussion here. Obviously, the powers of the Treasury Secretary have been greatly expanded. The most powerful officer in the Hank Paulson says he won't stay on. Who do you have in mind to appoint to that very important post?
Not you, Tom.
With good reason.
You know, that's a tough question, and there's a lot of qualified Americans. But I think the first criteria, Tom, would have to be somebody who immediately Americans identify with. Immediately say, we can trust that individual. Supporter of Senator Obama's is Warren Buffett. He's already weighed in and helped stabilize some of the difficulties in the markets and with companies and corporations, institutions today. I like Meg Whitman. She knows what it's like to be out there in the marketplace. She knows how to create jobs. Meg Whitman was the CEO of a 1.3 million people in America make their living off eBay. Maybe somebody here has done a little business with him. But the point is, it's going to have to be somebody who inspires trust and confidence. Because the problem in our institutions, Wall Street, and the greed and excess and the cronyism in Washington, D.C.
All right. Senator McCain, Senator Obama, who do you have in mind for Treasury Secretary?
Would be a pretty good choice. I'm pleased to have his support, but there are other folks out there. Is making sure that the next secretary understands that not enough just those at the top. Prosperity is not just going to trickle down. We've got to help the middle class, and we've on the economy. Senator McCain's statement, he thought the fundamentals of the economy were sound. Part of the problem here is that for many of you, wages and incomes have flatlined. For many of you, it is getting harder and harder to save, harder and harder to retire. And that's why, for example, on tax policy, what I want to do is provide a middle-class tax cut to 95% of working Americans, those who are working 2 jobs, people who are not spending enough time with their kids because they are struggling to make ends meet. Senator McCain is right that we've got to stabilize housing prices, but underlying that is loss of jobs that the next going to have to work on.
Very much. May I remind both, if I can, that we're operating under rules that you signed off on, and when we have a discussion, it really is to be confined within about a minute or so. We're going to go now, Senator, you, and it comes from Clark, who is over here in Section F. Oliver?
Well, Senators, through this economic crisis, most of the people that I know have had a difficult time, and through this bailout package, I was wondering what it is that's going to actually help those people out.
Well, thank you, Oliver, and that's an excellent question because, as you just described it, bailout, when I believe it's rescue, because of the greed and excess in Washington and Wall Street, Main Street was paying a very heavy price, and we know that. I left my campaign and suspended it to go back to Washington to make sure that there were additional protections for the taxpayer, in the form of good oversight, in the form of taxpayers being the first to be paid back when our economy recovers, and it will recover. Real catalyst, really the match that lit this fire, was Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. I'll bet you may never even have heard of them before this crisis. But you know, they're the ones that, with the encouragement of Senator Obama and his cronies and his friends in Washington, that went out and made all these risky loans, gave them to people that could never afford to pay back. And you know, there were some of us that stood up 2 years ago and said, we've got to enact legislation to fix this. We've got to stop this greed and excess. Meanwhile, the Democrats in the Senate and some members of Congress defended what Fannie and Freddie were doing. They resisted any change. Meanwhile, they were getting all kinds of money in campaign contributions. Senator Obama was